Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Theater of Football. I'm Mike Odom, and I'm joined today by Jeremy Forbes. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey Mike, good to be doing another video with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. Lots to discuss this weekend. Since we're United fans, let's start off with our match with Brighton. I thought it was overall another poor performance, maybe slightly better than
Uh-huh.
we saw at Palace. If you take out the results from both games, I thought overall maybe slightly better, but overall still poor.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your just immediate thoughts?
My immediate thoughts was another soap opera of a game. Um, you know, one minute you're frustrated with the team, the next minute you're happy, even though, like you said, maybe they haven't played well as a whole throughout the match, but you know we're winning the game, and then all of a sudden we're drawn again, and you think, well, there goes lost points, drop points again, only for uh, Fernandez to just once again have our hearts pounding with an amazing penalty take.
Yeah, he definitely has ice in his veins. That's for sure. Have the final
Yep.
whistle go, wait all that time, come back and
Mm-hmm.
hit a beautiful penalty like that to get
Yep.
us those two extra points. So it was a
I
good.
even I even I even loved his post match talk. He sounds like he's the captain of the team. He's like, my team. Oh, okay. Did you tell Harry Maguire?
No, he has some great lines. He reminds me a lot of Eric Cantona in that regard. What did he
uh,
say? Something about how people may say that Brighton played better than us, but at the end of the day, it's about scoring goals, not trying to hit the woodwork. So uh, I like that.
uh,
I like that
but
swagger.
yeah, I mean, yeah, just the swagger, the way that he talks with passion about the club and about wanting us to be doing the best and about how excited to win. Like, I don't know why Solskjaer just doesn't give him the captaincy. He's way better in my regards for less kind of polarizing than Harry Maguire.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely our best player, and I would argue that he seems to show better leadership qualities than Maguire as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, he had a couple of slight moments during the match. I mean, everybody's gonna know that, and that's to be expected sometimes. But he wasn't no Paul Pogba. I can tell you that much. Thank heavens.
No, and the big difference between this performance and Palace was that I felt like Bruno played a lot better than he did against Palace, even if the overall team performance was poor. And I thought Rashford also played really well. I know he was offside for their two disallowed goals, just barely, but
hmm
overall, I thought he got a goal. I thought overall his performance, he didn't really drift out of the game at all like he has been doing lately. I thought that was something that he can build upon too. So that's why I would rate this performance, not just I know we won this game, we lost against Palace, but
Yeah, yeah,
I would rate this as an improvement because of Bruno looking back, getting back to form as is looks like Rashford is too. But yeah,
yeah,
Pogba again was disappointing, and he just to me he just doesn't look fit. I don't know. What do you
yeah.
think?
Well, so I'm slight torn because part of me would say and agree with you, but then he just came back from the Euros, right? And actually, he didn't look bad then.
What you mean the European uh, playing for France?
Yeah.
No, he missed it because he had the coronavirus.
Oh,
So
I
I mean,
thought I thought I saw him in one match.
no,
I could be wrong.
you're thinking of Martial, who made his
Oh,
long-awaited
okay.
return to the side. I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
Sorry
Martial.
about that.
Yeah, Martial also didn't look fit to me
Yeah.
yesterday, but not as to the extent that Pogba did. And I think Solskjaer needs to protect Pogba. I don't. You have Van de Beek there, who looks fully fit to me.
Oh,
You're
he's ready to
starting.
play.
Yeah, he's starting him on the bench. Why is he not starting in front of Pogba? You can keep Pogba on the bench, give him a few minutes here and there, slowly build him up, but he's just
Yeah.
throwing him out there and then he's having to sub him off after 60, 65 minutes. And
hmm
I don't think that's helping the player out at all.
No, no, I agree with you. And if we're being honest, Van der Beek did his role in actions did help out in us getting that penalty at the end of the day. So like he is ready for it. He's up for it. He's ready to play, and he's shown wonderful signs of why we wanted him when he has played. So I don't see the reason why we shouldn't give him a start. I mean,
Yeah,
I know probably Solskjaer is thinking, well, he's one of the only few people that I could take off my bench right now and really feel like he might create a difference. But at the end of the day, with the team playing the way it is right now, I would scrap that idea and just try to play your fittest and your best players at the moment from the start of the game,
yeah,
because we want to put pressure on other teams so that later on, if we do get a goal early, we're able to play on the counterattack and make up some goal difference. Because as it's looking right now, like some other teams that you would have maybe expected have started off the league very well, and we don't want to get caught behind like goal difference at the end of the season. Be like, oh, we're close to Leicester, but they had a better goal difference than us.
yeah. Leicester sure
Not the
padded
way.
a goal difference today.
Woo! I was like, yes, get it.
Another talking point I thought from the game was I was
Mhm,
I was convinced, especially after Ole's pre-match press conference, that he was
mhm.
finally going to drop Lindelof and start by, and he didn't. And while maybe Lindelof didn't have any standout moments like he did against Palace, where he's found completely wanting in defense,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
he still struggled. He still looked like he struggled to me. He still looks like a player short of confidence, maybe a player short of just overall ability in the end to be
Yeah.
a United player. What do you make of that? Do you agree with me that Bailly should be starting in place of Lindelof? Or
Yep. And I also felt that Henderson had done enough to also start that match. Like I guess anybody that has heard me talk throughout our times on this channel can see and can know that right now I'm not the biggest fan of De Gea. So I think he needs to sit on the bench a little bit. I think he needs to get his head refocused. And I think Solskjaer just needs to make the tough decisions as Manchester United manager and sit him and sit Lindelof.
yeah,
Plain and simple. They're
I,
not adding any extra value to the team right now, either of them.
I'm not as strong about taking De Gea out right now,
Yeah.
based upon I've just seen Henderson play the one game against Luton, and he made that fabulous save, but we didn't really see him do much in terms of him getting pressed with the ball at his feet. We will see that on I believe we play Brighton again on Wednesday in the League Cup. I assume Henderson would come back in for that game, and we will get to see that because Brighton, as if they showed us anything yesterday, they will press us high up the pitch, and
Yep.
we'll get to see him do that. And if he comes through that with flying colors, then I would be completely on board with you on that assessment.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
I also couple that assessment with the amazing job that he did last season. And I'm like, you're not gonna bring a keeper back, be paying him all that kind of money, and supposedly be wanting the two of them to challenge, but then not really giving him a chance. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
that's fair. But I just feel like if you have a open goalkeeping battle, you're starting from kind of scratch, but you still say De Gea is your number one, then it's up to Henderson and the games he gets to prove that he belongs. And I don't think one game necessarily makes a difference in that regard. He needs to keep performing well in the League Cup and the cup competitions that he's going to get to play in. And hopefully he continues to do that. And yeah, he'll provide something better for us at the back, I feel. But I think right now, but I do feel like what you're saying, Ole has his favorites, and
Yeah.
Lindelof is one of them. De Gea is one of them. Maguire is one of them.
Coaching sometimes, yeah.
And it's just like I don't know. It just feels like that's the way it's going. I didn't know what you made of the substitutions in the match because at the end of the day,
I thought Fred came on and played well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Fred was good too. I thought it was interesting that he went to a back three by bringing on Bailly. Um, the interesting thing with that was that Brighton kept on getting crosses in on our left side, and that's down to Luke Shaw and everyone else working towards that flank. But they kept getting them in. They kept on having open men on the back post, and Wan-Bissaka was found, sucked into the middle. And he brought on that to go three at the back and move Wan-Bissaka as more of a wing back to cover that back post. But even after that, Wan-Bissaka was still getting sucked in field, and they had one warning shot like 85th minute, which I think went over the bar. And then they scored. They ended up scoring the goal, and Wan-Bissaka should have been there for both. And I don't really know if
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised he
yeah,
was getting sucked in so much.
yeah, I don't know because there's two things. There's one of two things that's going on there. One, he's not getting the message that hey, we're changing this formation so that you can properly cover the back post. You're not going to get sucked into a runner more centrally. If that message isn't happening, or if that message is happening, then he just is plain just not understanding. So either he's not getting the message or he just doesn't understand the message. And whichever one it is, it's a problem, don't you think?
Yeah, or is like what we talked about. I think last season, where if a player isn't feeling confident with another player, they'll overcompensate. So maybe he doesn't feel confident in Lindelof and tries to overcompensate, but then gets caught out because he's not really in the position he should be in.
Yeah, I mean that I agree with that. Like before we went to the back three or back five, however you want to look at it, because Lindelof
Yeah.
was playing on his side. When we went to the back three, Ole moved Lindelof over to the left, which I thought was also dumb because we're having issues getting crosses into the box. So I'd rather have Bailly over there who can come
Yeah.
over and he will put in a tackle and
Yeah.
try and shut that down. Lindelof's just going to stand there tentatively and not do anything and hope it hits him in the chest when it piles in the arm when he's standing a yard inside the area. I mean, that didn't make sense at all either. And something I know our playing squad has largely changed since he was there. But when Louis van Gaal was there, he tried to implement different tactical setups. He wanted to play the three at the back, and our players just could not figure out how to do that. And with the way he wanted to play, we couldn't figure out how to create scoring opportunities and stuff like that. So I've long thought that our players were not very bright tactically. Now Wan-Bissaka was definitely not there when Louis was there, but it just feels like whenever Ole tries to tweak stuff tactically, we just completely get it all wrong. The only thing we can do is play like a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah. So then that comes down to the overall coaching staff, not just Ole. He should take most of the blame, but the overall coaching staff to prepare the players. Okay, we're making this switch in formation. This is what we want to be doing. This is the positions you want to have. If there's any issue in the game that needs to get changed, like I used to see in the past, call a player over, call a captain, Roy Keane, come here, tell those boys what they should be doing and whip them into shape. They're not readjusting to how the team has changed. So that does come down to coaching.
Yeah.
So maybe Ole doesn't have enough senior kind of coaching staff around him that understands that and has a higher footballing IQ. I mean, we got great players that played with us in the past and all of that, and that can be good. But from a coaching standpoint, it doesn't always work, and we've clearly have seen that with players that have tried to become coaches, and it just doesn't work. Like the IQ of how you need to combat teams and be tactically prepared doesn't work. You can play a good role on the pitch, but that's too one-sided.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to explain correctly proper different tactics and techniques, especially in game situations when things are dynamic. We have Carrick and McKenna, who are very young coaches, but we also have Mike Phelan, who was number 2 for Sir Alex Ferguson for many years. So I don't know. I don't know if something's getting lost there, because like I said, this was a problem back when Van Gaal was our manager. And it persisted under Mourinho, even though Mourinho had you kind of knew what he was going to do regardless. Van Gaal was people talk about Van Gaal's boring football, but he did try to do different things to get us going. It just didn't work because the players couldn't figure it out.
No, I agree with you.
So it just feels like players still aren't necessarily learning how to work in different systems or adjustments we're
Uh-huh.
making, like in this game. Now, people might get upset that we're making defensive substitutions when we're playing Brighton, which I
Yeah.
understand that too. But there were so many times they had the man over
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the right side of our defense, and Wan-Bissaka was on walkabout or not where he should be or getting sucked in field because, like you said, he's worried about Lindelof. So we make this adjustment to try to help him out and put him in the best possible situations to succeed, and the team in a situation to see these chances off, and they're still getting wide open looks on the back
Yeah.
post.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was sorry.
I think overall, like, we know teams that have been able to say, okay, we got the one goal advantage. Let's protect that and call it a day. But I don't think Man United can do that. If since we do have defensive frailties, we all know it. Like, every team
Mhm.
knows it now. That's not your best defense. Your best defense will be continuing to attack.
Yeah, I agree. I fell in love with United because it never seemed like we would sit back and defend. But just because you make this defensive substitution, I mean, I think when it was made, we still had Rashford and Martial out there with Bruno, and that's still, I think that's still enough quality to get us more goals.
Uh-huh.
I think the change of shape was kind of smart, but if the players aren't gonna do what you need them to do in that shape, then it's pointless in the
Yeah,
end. So
true.
I don't
True.
know if the players aren't getting the message or if the players just don't understand the message.
It
Who
may be a
knows?
little bit of both.
Maybe that's a good point. It's probably a little bit of both. You're right. Um,
And do you think
Communication on
that
both sides.
do you think that might come down to a little less cohesion because uh, it- with how things have gone in this pandemic and changing the structure of how quickly we had to begin back the new season and all of that? Do you think there's a little bit of lack of cohesion from our team? We're trying to get that back.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously there is lack of cohesion. I mean, I don't like that. That was kind of made an excuse after our Palace loss, and then all they said it's going to take us 4 or 5 games to get back up to get our fitness up and get our focus back. And I think cohesion is part of that too. I don't really like that as an excuse, but yeah, there may be a little lack of cohesion. So maybe when it gets to November, December, if Ole feels the need to make these tactical decisions, changes formation late in the match to ward off some threats, then players might respond a little better.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, there's one thing, the big talking point from the week, and now that at the end of the United match, there was fans of basically any team other than United didn't like this decision, but Neil Maupay, he
Yeah.
in my opinion clearly handled the ball. I mean, he
Yeah.
stuck his arm out like here, headed against my arm like that. That was such a daft move. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm surprised the ref didn't pick it up and
Yeah.
live and call the penalty. But it went to VAR after he blew the final whistle. He went and looked at the touch side monitor, gave the penalty. Bruno converted it, but it was kind of the start of a string of more. I don't want to call them handballs when they're not. When I don't necessarily agree with the decisions, but at the end of the day, there was another handball decision given in the Palace match, which was iffy at best, and
Yeah.
then one in the Spurs match today against Eric Dyer, which I thought was just shocking.
Yeah.
Um, and in both those matches, there was a handball in the box, possible penalty that went to review and wasn't given, and felt like similar situations to the ones that were eventually given.
Hmm.
How do you see like this new handball rule and how VAR is handling it? Because I talked about
Yeah.
it last week, so people who watch already know kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I just think there's with the league is not doing themselves any favors with doing this. What's the reason? There's no true lack of reason, in my opinion, why you're going to make it way more difficult on on the refs in regards to trying to adjust this. Um, I really do feel that as a whole, like, our league just hasn't done VAR very well consistently since it's been implemented into the league. I almost would love for them just to scrap it and just keep goal line technology and go back to giving the refs more power, because it's just too much. Like, if we thought there was controversy before, there's way more controversy now. And at least with all the controversy that existed before, you could still just say, well, if the ref didn't see it, the ref didn't see it. But you to have all of this VAR, how many times do you need to look at it and still get it wrong? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I mean, I agree. I mean, the new law, I believe, is written in such a way that it says if you use your arms to make your
Body
body
bigger.
bigger than it is, then
Yep.
it's a infringement. But
Yep.
then it also says that leeway needs to be made if they don't have a view of the ball, which was the case with the Eric Dyer penalty today in the dying moments for Tottenham against or for Newcastle against Tottenham. He was going up to challenge for a header, which he ultimately was never going to win, but the ball's behind him and Andy Carroll heads the ball, and he's, his arms are kind of like this, and it just kind of hits him in the elbow, and it's like he knew absolutely nothing about it. The header wasn't really going to trouble anybody. Why is that a penalty? And that was a couple minutes after Tottenham had their VAR appeal turned down, when I thought it was much closer to being a penalty, because even though the Newcastle player's arm is kind of tucked in, he still kind of got it out, and the cross is coming in, and he's blocking it with his hand. And he's looking at the ball when it's coming in. So he could have tucked that ball in. But I think when you have that verbiage, like leeway needs to be given if you're not looking at the ball, that should have been a clear exoneration for Eric Dyer. That was ridiculous that was given, especially after the review at the other end shortly before that. It's just shocking how poor VAR is being handled. Even this new handball rule I don't like, but VAR is just being very inconsistent with how they interpret it as well. So they need to just come up with a set, like I said last week, they need to figure out just a set way of how it's going to be judged from now on, and make an announcement so the players can try to adjust. And now and Neil Maupay can still like stick his hand out towards the ball. That's fine.
Very good.
So, but that's it for theater football. The curtain is now closing. I want to thank Jeremy for joining me.
It was good. It was good to be back again.
Yes, great to always have you. And thank you for your unique viewpoints. And let us know your thoughts on VAR, the new handball rule, or United's match with Brighton, or any of the games this weekend, Premier League, in the comments section if you're watching on YouTube, and hit the like button on YouTube as well, and subscribe. If you're listening on our podcast, be sure to hit us up on Twitter at Theater of Football. For Jeremy, I'm Mike. Have a great week.
We're out. Go Man United.
Oh, hello. Thank you for watching the Theater of Football. If you think Mike got it wrong yet again, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.